Hey guys, it's Javad. It's been a while. It's May. Spring is in the air. Flowers are blossoming. It's been pretty warm in California for a while. It's been a little while since I did a vlog, and it's about time. So I've been busy. I had the Gintani and Helios projects that I worked on with Jeff Bagby, and we got those finished, and we got those to Axpona, and they were received with great fanfare, we felt. And it was really fun having those speakers in the SB Acoustics room. So thank you to Bo and SB Acoustics for giving DIYers a chance to represent at such a cool high-end audio show. And it was cool to see our speakers fare well with anything we saw there, especially for the price. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff there is like six figures. So for a couple grand, pretty tough to beat. So anyways, and then both those speakers went to Indiana, which was about 2 weeks ago. And I also took out the enthralls and the rivalries. I had 4 speakers there, and Jeff came out. And it was a great event, and we listened to a ton of speakers and made our heads hurt. And so I kind of, give the wife a break, and I haven't been out in the shop for about 3 weeks, which is a long time for me. But I want to break in with a fun project that I've been wanting to do for a while. So my company, 034 Motorsport, we need some speakers for events. I don't know if you guys have seen. We have 2 big events a year, and the last events in the winter, I had the Straffi out there. In the past, I had the Rally Sports, which was a PA style build I did. And so I want to build a dedicated speaker system, more of like a PA type speaker, specifically for those events. And this is to blast the music all the kids like, the dubstep and the Ariana Grande and the Beyonce and all that stuff at these events. And so these need to be loud, they need to be efficient, they need to be easy to set up. They need to have, good bass response down to about 50, 60 hertz. They don't need to hit deep notes because there's really not a lot of concern for that. And I'd rather trade some sensitivity for mid bass and upper bass response for the really low stuff. So and I also want these to be quick and easy. So here's the name of the project. Let's intro it here. You guys know I like my names. So these will be called the dBacles. The debacle is what they'll do to your ears if you turn them up really loud. But it's kind of a fun play on the decibel as well. So the dBacles, these are what I'll post them under on the group. And so yeah, let me introduce you to some of the parts I'll be using and the components, and we can go from there. So let's start with the meat and potatoes, which is the woofer. So these will be a 15-inch two-way PA style speaker, and usually you don't want to use a 15-inch and a two-way because the directivity of the 15-inch is just not going to match up to a tweeter very well. Again, these are PA speakers. It's about blasting sound and throwing it out to a large number of people. These aren't going to be critical listening hi-fi speakers. And so, yeah, the directivity won't be optimal, but there'll be lots of sound and it'll be bouncing all over the place. And the other thing I'm going to do to help that is I'm going to cross to the woofer much lower than you would in a hi-fi speaker. So I'm going to try to squeeze out maybe 800 hertz. And because this will be a fully active setup, as you'll see, that'll help the directivity. So it's not going to solve it. Probably would need to cross over more like 500 hertz or 400 hertz to really make this a point source. But I think these will be great. And there's like 18-inch two-way PA speakers that work great. So building speakers, designing speakers is all about compromise. And if you optimize one variable, it's at the complete sacrifice of all the others. So typically we're looking to optimize, half for let's say there's 10 variables. We're going to optimize for as many of those as we can to get the best overall result. So that's the idea here. So anyways, this is a 15-inch two-way, and this is the woofer we'll be using, which is the Dayton PN 395. I posted about these last year when they first came out, and I got a pair. These are pretty new. These are less than a year on the market, and well, let me show you. It's a pretty cool looking driver. All right, just go to the crotch cam so you guys can see better here. All right. So this is the Dayton PN 395. As you can see, it's not your normal PA woofer. So at first it looks like it's got this wimpy little magnet, but in reality this is Neo and has a big Neo slug inside the voice coil. The voice coil is 4 inches and it's wound on the inside and the outside of the voice coil. So the BL on this thing is like 25. So this motor produces a lot of force, and it also has a copper cap in the pole piece, which helps linearize inductance and reduce distortion. And it's got a cool design. So you can't really see, but there's these heat sinks right here, and if you look down in those heat sinks, it's actually, you're looking at the voice coil or inside the voice coil. So what happens is the cone moves in and out. Hot air from the voice coil and motor assembly is forced out over these heat sinks on the frame. So the frame absorbs a lot of heat from the motor, and then the air movement helps evacuate it away. So it's actually a really nice cooling design, and this should help power compression or thermal compression from the voice coil and motor heating up. It also, increases the power handling as well. And then you have much more airflow, straight out of the back here. So there's a lot of air moving in and out over this voice coil. It's a really nice design. This is a really beautifully finished driver. Really nice cast aluminum frame. Has these cool push terminals here. Really nice quality spider. The tinsel leads are woven right into the spider. This cone is a fiberglass reinforced, and let's see what else. This driver has almost 7 millimeters of X-Max, and there's a generous amount of clearance around the voice coil where this thing can it's never going to bottom out, basically. Dayton advertises that this can do over 40 millimeters peak to peak. I'm not sure how well it would do there, but I think in my application I'll probably push it to the 6 mil, and I anticipate it'll be clean up to there thanks to the motor design. And yeah, so excited to put this thing to good use. It has a very clean on-axis response and off-axis to just over 1,000 hertz. So that will mean that it will have good frequency response characteristics up to that point, and then we'll be letting the tweeter take over from there. So yeah, Dayton PN 395 8-8 is the 8-ohm woofer. Average sensitivity is about 97 dB. So this thing will get loud and it'll hurt your eardrums if you let it. So, all right. So that's the 15-inch woofer. Let's reposition our camera here. All right, so now for the tweeter. So this is a brand new driver that's out from BNC. It's the DE990TN, and it's a 1.4-inch titanium diaphragm compression tweeter. So this thing's a monster. Check it out. So this looks pretty big, right? Usually compression drivers that are this big have ferrite or ceramic motors. This is a Neo magnet. It weighs almost 5 pounds, so it's got a ton of Neo in it. This is a very powerful driver. This is one of the bigger Neo compression drivers I've seen. Like I said, usually there's a ferrite or ceramic magnet in here. Let's see. So this has a 3.4-inch voice coil. The actual outlet is 1.4 inch. Like most compression drivers, there's a face plug that's tuned. And BNC kind of makes a big deal that this has a bent edge voice coil. They don't really say what that does, but generally when you see stuff like that, it's to increase the rigidity of the voice coil, of the diaphragm, allows for better attachment of the diaphragm to the voice coil, better power handling, better durability, things like that. So these are PA drivers. These are designed to just crank really loud at concerts for hours and hours and hours. So they have to have good thermal capacity. So here we have an aluminum end cap with heat sinks built into it. So this is all metal. So this is going to conduct a lot of heat away from the voice coil. This thing has a good response down to 500 hertz where it drops off real sharp. BNC recommends 1000 hertz at 12 dB crossover. So I think what I'll end up doing is crossing it lower with a steeper slope to get down to that 800 hertz. I don't see that being an issue. Again, this will be active, so shouldn't have a problem with that. Again, titanium diaphragm, and yeah, the Neo magnet on this has about 10 times the force of a ceramic or ferrite magnet. So imagine 10 times bigger magnet. So that's what we're dealing with here. There's a lot of magnetic force in this driver. Sensitivity, peak sensitivity is almost 115 dB on this driver. But where I'll be using it, it'll be down around 105 by the time I flatten it out and stuff like that, which is still, I would still need at least 2 to 3 times the number of woofers to keep up with this compression driver. But that's fine. Thanks to the magic of active, I'll just, match the level with the woofer, and there'll be a lot of efficiency and sensitivity on the table. All right, and last but not least, the horn. So this is also a BNC horn. This is the BNC ME90. So again, this is a 1.4 inch, since my compression driver is 1.4 inch. So this is a really beautiful horn. It's cast aluminum. The quality's impeccable. I like how there's so many screws on the mounting flange to really hold it down. It is very resonant, but that will change once it's bolted down. So you can see you can really get it to ring, but as soon as you touch the edge, it dampens it. So once this is bolted to the cabinet, it won't make any sound. I'll probably throw some Noiko on it just to help. But yeah, once you bolt it down, there's really no concern. So this is the horizontal orientation of this horn, and this has a 80-degree horizontal by 60-degree vertical. So this has a relatively narrow dispersion pattern, which is good at focusing sound. This was, if I was building some concert hall speakers, this horn would be nice because it would minimize the interactions from one driver to the other. So as long as I have these pointed in the right directions, there's going to be very controlled directivity above 800 hertz with this horn. So this horn loads down to 800 hertz and controls directivity down to 800 hertz. So yeah, that's the horn, and that's the drivers I'm using. So let's talk real quick about amplification. So I've been wanting to use and demonstrate this amp by Dayton. So initially Dayton came out with a line of these amps. They were cool. They had some like DSP functionality, like preset DSP. But the problem was they had a fixed crossover. So one amp had 1,000 hertz fixed crossover. You couldn't adjust it. Then the next one had 2,000, 3,000. I don't know why they did that. So I made a request, and I'm sure lots of other people did as well, and said, hey, can you guys make this adjustable? And so Dayton's awesome that way. You can just talk to them and give them ideas, and they're really in tune with what the community's doing. And so they did it. So this is a 2-channel amp. So it has 200 going to one, 800 going to the other. It has a built-in DSP, which is it's a nice legit DSP. Uses a Windows interface, and it has a fully adjustable crossover. So we can set the crossover points for the tweeter wherever we want it. And so there may be some limit. I don't think you can set it to whatever you want, but it's adjustable and it's much more flexible than it used to be. So yeah, and then it has here, let's open it up. But it has 2 inputs. It has basically a mixer, so you can mix in a microphone as well, you know, for when the DJ is gonna like say when the bass is gonna drop and stuff. So let's see. So it comes with a USB cable. Looks like some foam gasketing material. Screws, power cable. These foam things. Alright, so these are the 2 inputs. This is input 1, input 2. There's a output, which is great for daisy chaining like to a subwoofer. And then there are level knobs for each input. Input for the DSP. This is for a Bluetooth, so you can actually connect to Bluetooth with this. And there are some preset DSP modes. So there's a custom vocal, music, low cut, high cut. Nice thing about this, it has a subsonic that we can implement. And again, 800 watts and 200 watts. Now keep in mind that is at 1% distortion, so it's not great. 800 watts is a lot. We don't need 800 watts. So if this thing's putting out 200-300 clean watts, it's gonna rock. It's gonna be super loud. The sensitivity of this speaker will be well over 95 dB. So honestly, a 10-watt amp could get these things to ear bleed levels. So this is plenty of power to work with. I'm not sure why they rate it at 1%. You know, it sounds better, I suppose, but at least they tell you. They're honest about that. So yeah, this is the amp. I'm excited. I think this might work well for hi-fi applications as well, and so I intend on kind of evaluating that as I go through this project, and I'll comment on that more in the future. This thing is really beefy. This is a cast aluminum flange. I mean, it's literally almost 5/8 inch thick. So this thing's really well built. It has a really nice heatsink. It's intended for professional use. Now, I don't know if this wire is made from unicorn urethras or not, or if it's been blessed by monks, which I hear is really good for fidelity. Really brings out the soul of the music. But hopefully this copper wire suffices. I think it should be okay. So, all right. So the last part I'd like to go over is the enclosures. So normally, you know, I build enclosures, and I built a lot of them this year. So, you know, I thought, let's let someone else do all the hard work for once. And so I've got this trapezoidal flat pack, which is also from Parts Express. So this is actually, for the money, a really good deal. You can see it's nice Baltic birch. It's all CNC'd. There's rabbets here. There's angles. So this is trapezoidal. So it has an angled sides that go to a smaller back. Comes with these screws. There's pre-drilled screw holes. I'm not a big fan of screwing and gluing. I'm more of just a gluer. So I'm not sure what I'll do with these. I'm not convinced they're necessary at all, but we'll see. I probably won't use them, and I'll probably just glue them and fill the holes, or maybe I'll just use like a couple for assembly, or maybe I'll just put a couple in and take them out after the glue sets. But this is the baffle. This comes with a 15-inch, so this is a 14-inch cutout, which is great for any 15-inch PA style driver. So yeah, I've got 2 of these, and that's what I'll be doing for the enclosure. And here's the information on it. They make this in a 12-inch version as well. So anyways, that's the debacles. I'm going to start working on them here, and you should start seeing some more posts in the coming week or two. Still haven't figured out what I'm going to do for finish. I want to do something cool, but something kind of durable so that they hold up. These aren't going to be sitting in my listening room or my living room, to my wife's chagrin. So, I'm not sure. I've got some ideas, but I don't want to, get your guys' hopes up and then not do it. So, anyways, thanks again for watching. It's like 20 minutes long now, so sorry about that. But hopefully you find it interesting. And if you're still watching, you have excellent taste in videos. What can I say? All right, thanks, guys.